Welcome everyone. Today I want to discuss the idea that I see frequently thrown around the internet, and that is that there are just too gosh darn many crypto tokens out there, and that there are way too many blockchains. I mean, somebody stop the insanity! What's going on? This is actually a concept that I disagree with, and I want to lay out my reasoning for why I think this explosion of tokens and of blockchains is a good thing for the crypto economy. By the way, the Ledger Nano X, the hot new hardware wallet with Bluetooth and increased storage, is now available from the Ledger shop. And it's coming with free shipping available currently. So get yours today. There is a link down below. Now into the topic, and I have some questions for you to ponder as we begin our chat today. How many websites do we need? How many restaurants do we need? How many car companies do we need? How much innovation and how much choice is too much? The reality is that no one blockchain will do everything. Now please, Bitcoin maximalists, before your heads explode, hear me out on this one. We are not just revolutionizing money here. I think that's something that gets lost in the conversation. We are shaking the whole damn economy on its head. We are creating communities. We are creating business models. We are creating technology that can completely alter the digital landscape and which can revolutionize the way in which we understand the internet. We may actually be moving towards a tokenize everything kind of world, as crazy as that may sound. The idea that Bitcoin and Bitcoin alone will be able to fulfill all of our fantasies is actually kind of myopic. And to be clear, I like Bitcoin. I'm a Bitcoin fan, in case you haven't noticed by watching this channel. Really, I am. Bitcoin is great, but we have to face the reality that Bitcoin cannot and will not do everything. And yet, of course, Bitcoin maximalists argue that it will someday, maybe. And if it doesn't already, well, then it will someday via sidechains or some other kind of innovation. Look, this is wrong for many reasons. Because what if you and I choose to use Litecoin to make our monetary exchange? That's our decision, our preference. Well, our preferences are wrong, and we need to use Bitcoin instead. Now, what if I prefer sub-cent fast on-chain transactions? Well, my preferences are wrong and I should just use Bitcoin anyway. But besides, if you really want sub-cent on-chain transactions, just use Lightning Network as layer 2 solution. Don't worry about the on-chain part, just use the Lightning Network. I mean, hey, it might not be on-chain, but you probably don't really care about that anyway, do you? I care. I like Lightning Network, but I also like on-chain transactions. Now, what if I prefer ring signatures over ZK snarks, but I also find Mimblewimble interesting? Well, Lark, your preferences are all wrong. You should be using Bitcoin, son. Well, actually, Bitcoin may implement privacy technology at some point, but that is a really, really big maybe, as it will be near impossible to actually find the kind of consensus needed to implement that kind of technology. But even if Bitcoin does go for privacy technology, it can't do all three at the same damn time. So whichever two are not chosen will mean that those preferences are wrong again. Doesn't make any sense. Okay, well, maybe we'll have 3 side chains in the future which use all 3 different kinds of those techs, so none of that exists yet. And if you want to use that technology today, well, your preferences today are wrong. Doesn't make any sense. The whole conversation is crazy, of course. And what about DAGs? What about sharded blockchains? What about on-chain governance? Or a million other things. And you know what? Just stop it, because all your preferences are wrong, at least according to Bitcoin maximalists. I love Bitcoin. It's amazing, but sometimes the myopia of the maximalist movement actually hurts my brain, because Bitcoin is awesome and I love Bitcoin, but I'm also a realist about what it is and what it isn't. Is it the only coin out there? No, it's not. Now look, if you only want to invest in Bitcoin, you think it's going to give you the best returns over the coming years, I feel ya, I do. And I'm not actually talking about the investment potential here, even though there's amazing potential right now in the altcoin markets. I'm talking about the technology. I'm talking about building a decentralized future. Making money on investments is just a small part of that entire equation and of that bigger picture. And if we as a community can accept that outside of Bitcoin, there may actually be value to be created, well, then we must start to question how much value? How many options? Is only Ethereum allowed and nothing else? Well, now we're Ethereum maximalists and Bitcoin maximalists at the same time. Is 10 the right number of blockchains? Is 100 the right number of blockchains? What about tokens? How many tokens should we have? We will have tens to maybe even hundreds of thousands of tokens representing a dizzying array of use cases and assets. Many of those will probably exist in the STO world, but others will see much more mainstream kind of adoption. Now, of course, this means that we will need some very strong interoperability between blockchains in the future, and of course we'll need incredibly robust and liquid decentralized exchanges where conversions can happen between chains very quickly and with very low fees. Because once we have the base layer of an open, global, immutable record-keeping system, of a transaction processing system, and of a secure computing environment, we will be able to reconceptualize on a global basis every aspect of finance, every aspect of decision-making, of law contracts, and just so much more beyond that. And I actually want to unpack some of these use cases for you so you can kind of understand how big tokenization and how big the plurality of blockchains will be. And do keep in mind that some of these blockchains will be much more appropriate than other blockchains for certain use cases, and that's an okay thing. Not every blockchain will be specific for certain cases. Now let's start off with fiat currencies on the blockchain. Yes, boring, old, stable coins. Now these are growing in popularity basically all the time. We see new ones coming to the market, and we continue to have better and more reliable variants from FDIC insured, regulated, regularly audited dollar holdings like Paxos, for example, to the smart contract enabled crypto asset collateralized coins like DAI. And of course, that's just about the fiat world. And we could actually look at the tokenization of gold, for example. This is also something that has been tokenized by quite a few projects like DigixDAO. Certain cryptocurrencies or tokens can also allow for certain rights in a platform. Now this can be as simple as access to that platform, to making governance proposals, and to voting. Of course, we can also look at the simple exchange of value within a network across these different token economies, resulting, of course, in the creation of and the maintaining of an economy within that platform. And that might be Ether within Ethereum or tokens within the Ethereum blockchain. Essentially, the creation of true digital economies, economies that are non-sovereign economies, which are governed by a global user base. It's very exciting stuff when you start to think about the potential of this technology. Of course, functions can also include things like onboarding or networking within a platform where the token will actually provide some kind of incentives for usage on that platform. We're already seeing these come forward. Things like getting paid to watch ads with the Brave browser, paid for your data, loyalty points for airlines, paid for network participation like writing reviews on a travel platform, for example. And really, the sky is the limit with the tokenization of gosh darn everything. Probably the sky at some point too. Someone's going to tokenize the sky, guys. It's going to happen. You just wait. And also, of course, day by day, the relevance of augmented reality and virtual reality technology continues to grow, with, for example, worlds actually being created and worlds being sold digitally. Owning pieces of digital land or of VR art pieces in VR museums or AR museums, it's a real thing already. People are actually paying hundreds of thousands of dollars for these things right now, today. It's crazy. And that moves me on to the gaming world. Every major blockchain is pushing into gaming right now for a reason. It will be big, and it is a great fit for the gaming industry. Just imagine in-game items with real-world value, with provable rarity and easy value transfer across a wide range of games, or even better, an item that you can use across game worlds, all kept on your Ethereum account, for example. Next, of course, we have the Internet of Things. That is the interconnected world of billions of devices talking to each other and making verifiable, instant, irreversible micro payments between each other. Very exciting stuff. Now, those kind of payments can be as simple as your self-driving car talking to the parking meter and paying for 5 minutes of parking while you run into the shop to grab something. Ranging up, of course, to the very complex data sharing between hosts of devices across an innumerable amount of use cases. This infrastructure is being built now. Of course, we must also include the STO market, or the security token market. $256 trillion of real-world assets exist. This will only increase over time. Most of these assets are still signified by paper and are highly illiquid. And you know what? We can tokenize all of that. Everything can be tokenized. Now, these tokens can be structured to do things like receive earnings or profit or some kind of benefit sharing. Stocks or other profit sharing schemes are a very good fit for security tokens, but it's also opening up capital injection into the developing world big time. This is the future economy of the globe, as well as the incoming boom of property and art and collectibles and all this stuff, which are going to be tokenized. Well, it may be very tricky to decide who gets to hang a tokenized Picasso on their wall from the token holders. Something like a holiday home might be an easier conceptualization of something you could tokenize. 10 home tokens issued with verifiable proof of ownership, easy to sell, but also built-in rights to time per year that you can use that. Just as some kind of a simple example for you. And what about you? Yes, you. Yes, it's crazy, but this has actually been proposed. Tokenize yourself and then sell shares in yourself. It's crazy, but people are proposing these ideas. Do you need a loan? Well, sell 10% of yourself and thus your weekly earnings to whoever invested in you. Got that 10% of you. Now, it's probably more likely for sports players or other kinds of talent like actors or artists or something, but the potential, again, very crazy. And while some of these ideas might sound ridiculous or futuristic or not applicable or any other kind of crazy, the future of truly open, borderless, permissionless global finance is just starting to dawn. And if we tokenize everything, we are going to need a wide variety of blockchains in order to achieve this. Just stop for a moment to imagine how many tokenizable or blockchainifiable actions happen every single second on the internet and in the economy globally. Although some blockchain purists might say, well, we should only use blockchain if it absolutely has to be done. Everything else is a scam. I don't agree. I see thousands of use cases where you do not need blockchain, but in which you can certainly benefit massively from transparency and security and low friction settlements and removing the middleman, etc., etc., etc. So Why wouldn't you want to use blockchain even if you don't have to use blockchain? Will every blockchain succeed in the long run? All the blockchains we see out there in the world right now? No. Although there will likely be a group of clear winners that do pull out ahead in the coming years. Who those winners will be, how many winners there will be, it's really anyone's guess, to be honest. Is the failure of a blockchain to innovate or to attract users or to attract dApps a bad thing? No. Does that mean that they were scams? Well, sometimes they might have been. But they might have just sucked. Or they were run by idiots who blew all their money on conferences and Coke. I mean, it happens. Maybe they just couldn't deliver the technology, or the platform just didn't work the way they thought it were going to. Make no mistake, of course, straight up scams do happen, but a business failure is not a scam. It's very different. We are going to see a lot of token ideas fail and a lot more stuff fail after that. And those are kind of the unfortunate victims of innovation when it comes down to it. Many blockchains will fail to get users. They will fail to get developers to build dApps and all that stuff. And it doesn't matter how much or how little you raised or how popular or unpopular you are today. We might see 9 out of 10 fail. It's crazy, but it could happen. And that's okay. And the same thing goes for tokens on top of those different blockchains. We might see lots of these different ideas, these innovative ideas that are coming out, fail. We are at a stage of massive innovation right now, and there is new tech being developed all of the time. Some blockchains will simply be out-innovated and won't be able to keep pace. Many tokens will fail to get users. All of this is a part of building a future digital economy. All of this experimentation is actually a net positive in the long run, because if your token project fails, maybe you inspired someone else to do the one that won. And the winners will be the future behemoths of the digital world. We are reimagining the future of money right now with cryptocurrencies, but we are also reimagining the future of the internet and the future of our global society's economy as we know it. Exciting times, guys. In case you can't tell, I'm excited about the ability to tokenize everything, good or bad, that may come from it. Anyway, you guys let me know what you think. Should we tokenize everything? Everything. Would you tokenize yourself? Let me know about it down below in the comment section, guys. As always, thank you so much for watching today's video. You guys are supremely, supremely awesome, and I really love you all and appreciate your time so much for coming and watching these videos. And if you did enjoy the video, hit that thumbs up button. That would be supremely awesome, guys. If you're new around here, please subscribe to the channel and click that bell to know when I put out a new video. Long live the blockchain, and peace out till next time.